Thanks for the F Shack. Love Dirty Mike and the boys.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys? How you know who we are?
What's this? They call it the podcast?
Morning Good. Oh, I love
Hey, welcome to the air. Thanks. Oh, wait, I'll start over.
Welcome to Morning Good.
Go. All right, we're here with Bobby Sheehan, Patrick Haggerty,
Heyo.
and Ben Miller.
Hi.
And you were coming on rapping originally.
I was rapping the 10 crack commandments outside while crackheads walked by.
Oh, okay.
Is that disrespectful? Or do they appreciate that?
No, that's. I think that's that's like saying the Quran around Muslim people. It's the commandments.
The Quran. Make sure you pronounce it that way, by the way, too.
Yes.
Are you going to burn their commandments in front of them?
Oh, I would never do that. Imagine the fire bombs in front of the embassy of the crackheads around the world. No way, Jose.
Well, it is interesting, too, because, like, this is actually the least crackhead-infested neighborhood. That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
This has been the least crackhead neighborhood I've been in,
Well,
but
if you put
everybody's mentioned
traps
something
out,
about it.
everybody will be, everything will be fine if you put the little traps out.
Like a mouse trap with some
Crack.
I don't
The
think
board
it's
game is even better.
I don't think anywhere's infested with crackheads. I welcome the crackheads. You know,
Yeah.
Crackhead welcomed neighborhoods. It's nice.
Yeah.
That's a safe haven for crackheads.
Okay, speaking of drugs, like about a week ago, I was gonna leave my apartment. My roommate Dan Frank was like, "Hey Ben, you can't go outside." I was like, "What?" And
Oh, I think he told me. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's terrible to interrupt your story to be like, wait, no, I've heard this one. But let me hear it from you.
No, I need to
I've
tell
heard-
the
no.
story. Michael already
All right,
knows.
I've heard this personal story.
No, you tell it.
No.
Now, come on, you tell it.
No, I'm just cooperating. Cooperating, that's the word, right?
Yeah.
I'm just verifying the validity that this is a real
Corroborating.
story and Ben is not a dirty liar on this podcast. So,
Yeah.
Thank you for affirming my reputation in front of all these fine folk.
Yeah.
But so Dan was like, there's a guy and he's been throwing rocks at my window for the past 20 minutes.
Aw.
And so I go and I look, and yeah, there's this crazy man. He's throwing rocks. He's yelling for a man named Mike. No one in the apartment's named Mike.
That's a
No one
good
below
guess,
us is
though. That
named
is a good
Mike.
bet to be like, there probably is a Mike in this apartment.
Yeah.
Just a generic white name.
Yeah.
And he's like banging on the front door. And we are very concerned because, yeah, he's clearly drunk. I don't know if it's crack. I mean, it's something. It sounds like that. That's the sound of the train
Yeah,
going by.
yeah.
Sounds like pounding on the door. Sorry, I just got flashbacks.
So far, this story sounds very romantic. He was throwing pebbles at your window. Like
yeah, he was holding up a boombox.
Yeah. That's
Who's
nice.
gonna drive you home?
Yeah, but luckily he was a white guy, so we could call the cops guilt-free.
Oh, dude, that's such a nice feeling. You're like, I'm not even gonna think twice about
Yeah.
this. Just gonna immediately call them.
Yeah, and then like 20 minutes later, a cop came, and the cop called Dan and was like, "Hey, is there a guy named Mike?" Like, we told you, there's no Mike.
I was like, guys, just bring Mike outside. Come on.
Yeah. Stop hiding him from us.
Yeah, but the time we were like, maybe
We had a missing person reported. His name was Mike. We're trying to look for him.
yeah, Mike Hunt.
Yeah. You guys get arrested for abducting Mike instead of the crackhead.
Yeah, so we're in like what seems like a pretty quiet neighborhood in Astoria, except for this one drugged out guy, potentially on crack, meth. I don't know.
So I want to analyze this because I did
Yeah,
see the
please.
video and I like breaking it down. So from what I saw in the video, he's throwing rocks,
Yes.
which, to be fair, maybe he got the wrong address. There's a possibility that he just, like, I always wondered that about, like, hitmen. Like, there's got to be a time where they just go to the wrong house or, like, wait, 345? I think it's 347 and they just kill the wrong guy.
Yeah, Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
It was the wrong Sarah Connor. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a funny deleted scenes in Terminator. He kills, like, 5 random people that aren't Sarah Connor. He's like, it doesn't matter. We're all going to wipe.
Yeah, well, that's what he does. He kills a bunch of different Sarah Connors. That's
Oh, yeah,
he
you're
goes,
right.
He
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
like, "You are Sarah." He's like, "Yes." It's like a different Sarah Connor.
Now, are you Sarah with an H? I don't want to make this mistake.
I don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it would look like he was throwing rocks, and at some point there was a part of me that was like, maybe he got the wrong house. But then there was a part where he's destroying his phone,
Yes.
which, yeah, he's trying to break his phone in half, which like I've never seen. I don't know. I've seen people rip textbooks apart. I've never seen somebody break an iPhone in half.
There's a method. You do it a certain way. You can do it easy. You know?
Well, that says what our society values. Breaking textbooks, but not phones. Kids, get off your phones, okay? There's a world outside.
Yeah, stop listening to this podcast and,
and
read a
start
book.
doing crack.
Yeah.
He also had on a Supreme hat, which isn't Supreme like a nice brand?
Yeah.
Well, he
Yeah,
was
I-
supremely addicted to drugs. Sad.
Well, yeah, it is possible he like stole it from somebody.
Or it was like on the ground, like he just found it.
Yeah.
Or
He's
may-
like, Mike, I got your hat.
Yeah. Or maybe like he has like a very supportive family, but they just don't know how to help him. So they're like, "Well, buy him cool gear." And that'll be like a good.
Yeah.
That'll get him on his feet. If he looks good, maybe he'll get a job
Yeah.
interview at like a douche factory or whatever. Supreme.
Then people won't believe that he's poor.
Yeah.
So they won't
A
give. They
douche
won't help him.
factory. Bobby, you could help him get a job there, right?
Yeah, dude. I'm actually I'm an intern right now, so it's hard for me to actually wreck somebody. But
That's what everybody says. You have to have some pull at the douche factory.
no. Well, the reason I got the job is because everyone did agree that I was the biggest douche they ever seen. But at the same time, it's like who you know what I mean. I got to wait for the guy's son to die first. It's this whole thing.
To move up in the system.
Yeah, and it's like I've tried to I've been.
Wait, the boss's son at a douche factory must. How are you a bigger douche than the boss's
Yeah.
son at a douche
Well, that's
factory?
the thing, but no one cares about merit anymore. It's all about nepotism and who you know. So I try
Yeah.
to outdouche this guy every day.
But nepotism is like the supreme form of douchiness. So I'm confused as to how you.
it is a
Supreme-
catch-24 for sure. Yeah. What's that, Ben?
Oh, because the Supreme hat. It was a callback to a story that Michael's already heard.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Bobby honestly had heard it also, but he was polite enough not to say anything. And I feel bad. I forgot that I told you this story. It was during a
No, you didn't
period
tell me
of-
the story. I saw Dan recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I got to see the video, the POV video.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is comforting that I didn't tell you the story.
No.
I hadn't heard the story.
Yeah, I didn't tell
was very
Patrick it on the
nice.
train because I was like, I'll save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way someone will interrupt it within 5 seconds of me.
I heard this one. Well, that's the thing too. It's like I mean, even on this own podcast, I'll repeat the same story so many times, or I'll just have the same conversation with so many people. And that the worst is when somebody tells you like, I have heard this from you specifically. But I'm guessing as far as like drugs he was on, I don't know. I'm weirdly an advocate for acid. I've done it like one time and I only took half a tab, but everybody's like, that guy's on acid. I'm like, actually, it's not that dangerous. So I don't know. I feel like
If he
maybe.
was on acid, he'd be like, we're all Mike.
Yeah. He probably was like, it's probably a combination of just not sleeping for days. And I was thinking what he probably had going on is he probably like thought the government was tracking him. So he was breaking the phone. Because why else would you try to break your phone? It's a very helpful device.
Right, especially for looking for Mike.
Yeah.
It would help you look for Mike if you had your phone.
What if he was mad that the phone led him to the wrong address? He's like, Mike isn't even here. Why am I
Yeah.
even using maps?
It's like my
on this
GPS
phone?
is wrong. My contacts are showing me the wrong address. Like this phone's not working for me. You know,
It
I
is.
get
My
it.
favorite part of living in New York is that you get to watch crazy people.
Oh, yeah.
I think the favorite thing I saw like recently was a crazy guy on a train, and he was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just trying to spread love." And he starts singing, and he did have a beautiful singing voice. He's like this older black guy, and this like young white woman who clearly just got to New York just by her. She was like, "Oh, there's entertainment on the train." She gives him money and tells him that he has a beautiful voice, which is a nice thing to do. And then he stops singing. He says, "Thank you." Sits down across from her, and then kind of is letting more of the crazy out, so he's rocking back and forth. He goes, "Ma'am, thank you so much for your generosity. I appreciate you. I love you. You please know that I love you." And she's like, "Oh, this is great." Like she's smiling. She's like, "I helped this man." And then his disposition changes, and he goes, "If I could kill every white person, I would." And she's like, "Oh no!" And I'm like, "Yeah, welcome to New York, bitch."
Yeah.
That's like my mom is like that too. I remember one time, this was in Florida, but we're like a 7-Eleven. This guy starts kicking the car. My mom was like, "What does he want?" And I'm like, "Mom, get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
And another time we were in New York, some guy's like bleeding all over the place. And she's like, was he asking for directions? I was like, "You don't." Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't go too far in the other direction though. Like if someone's like, "Hey, can you help me?" and you just like walk by like out of habit, and then you're like, "Oh, that was a non-crazy person that did need directions, and now I look like an asshole."
Oh, totally. Oh, I've looked racist because I had my headphones in, and some guy asked me for, and I
Yeah,
go, "Sir, I don't
yeah.
have any money." He's
You're
like,
like,
"I literally was
"You just
asking to
threw your
stop
wallet
this."
on the ground.
Yeah.
But it's like totally, it's because I have my headphones in. Like I'm just completely ignoring it.
Yeah.
That is fine.
I'm your superior at this job. Like, you need to do this work. Yeah.
Sir, how do I get to 8th Avenue? Please consult HR. I have to catch this train.
Yeah. Somebody had the funniest bit. Who was was it? I think it was Zach Braviette. I mean, not to say other people's bits, but he has this really funny bit about how it's so funny that some crackheads will be talking completely nonsense on the train, but they know exactly what stop to get off on. They'd be like, "Government's gonna eat my brain." They're like, "Is this Lorimore Ave?" Okay, perfect. They just get off exactly where they are.
That's where the government is. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the G train is better for being crazy on, so that they transfer over.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is this my stop? Great.
Well, the funniest is when every time you get on a train, because I have like a bit I'm doing about homeless people and how like, it's just about, I've said it on the podcast, but it's like when you do shrooms, everybody says shrooms make you progressive. But like that's the least progressive because like normally if I see a homeless guy, I'll consider like giving him like $1 or like a bottle of water. But on shrooms, I'm like, keep that goblin man away from, like that's terrifying.
Yeah.
But the people get really uncomfortable with it and when I do it in New York. And it's really funny because New York is like the most scared of homeless people that people are. Like it's like the train, it's like, you'll get into a subway car and you'll be like, why is this empty? I used to say, why is this? And immediately I go, oh, there's probably a homeless guy laying down. And people won't even be on the same car sometimes just because it smells like poop. I've gotten so used to that smell of human shit though that I'm like, if there's a seat on, I'd rather sit down and smell human feces than not have a seat.
Yeah. Well, sometimes there's guys who smell really bad. And I was on a train recently, a guy smelled really bad, and you could tell people just have different tolerances for it. Because I couldn't handle it. I was sitting there like this and I smelt him and it was pretty bad. I looked at him and just being that much closer, I was like, oh my God. Like it was too much. And then there was some like little blonde chick who sat right next to him who just could handle it, you know? Because I guess women smell like shit.
Now,
she was used to it.
It was her you were smelling.
was it that she has a higher tolerance, or was she just like, look how progressive I'm being right now?
Yeah.
Well, like literally, she's like,
She's like throwing up in her own mouth, or swallowing it back. She's like, I'm a good person.
Yeah. Everyone's the same. Yeah.
That's the thing. If you move to New York, no matter how high in agreeableness you are, that will change just based on survival.
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? Because do you ever see people like they literally stop when someone asks them for money?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. What were you saying?" And it's like, dude, good luck. Like you're gonna be late for work every day if you do that.
Yeah. I mean, I will do it here and there. I'm not just saying because I want to look like a good person, but I will here and there if I'm like I bought a homeless guy at Four Loko on New Year's, which was less for love, it was more for science. So I was kind of like, let me just kind of want to see what happens. But no, I was like, this is one guy I see all the time. He's like, hey man, can you give me like a Four Loko and like a cookie?
Oh, he asked. This wasn't you just being like, he'd love this.
No. I was joking. It was not like a Mentos Coke situation where I was like, let's just see who the combination.
And you didn't force him to break sobriety either.
No.
I'm finally turning my life around. Oh, it's a sign from God.
Yeah. This guy's about to be a Four Loko.
Aside from good, you meant because his name is Michael Good.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Michael, your name is good.
Yeah.
If you want to be grammatically correct, it's actually Michael Well. Just joking around.
Just joking, just busted.
Yeah.
But also on the topic of shit, I think shit hitting the water is a grosser smell to me for some reason.
Shit hitting water.
Like a toilet full of shit for some reason smells gross to me. Like for some reason, when homeless guys shit themselves, it doesn't. The dry shit for some reason doesn't smell as bad to me as I don't know what the combination is when shit hits water. Like somebody leaves a shit in the bathroom, I get so disgusted by it.
Yeah.
But if there's just like human shit on the ground, it never really bothers me.
See, the human shit in, as opposed to other types of shit, in a toilet bowl, like in a public restroom, I walk in and someone shit in the toilet. That is more aggravating to me than like a guy on the train shit his pants. Because a guy on the train shit his pants, you're on heroin, you ate 3 hours ago, you're gonna shit your pants.
Someone just gave you a Four Loko.
But like, I always want to know the story of somebody. Is it like, is it just being defiant for
This
defiance
is the
sense?
story of a guy
This is the
who
story
shit
of a
his
guy.
pants on the train.
But like, what is it? Is it like, okay, I shit in the toilet, and fuck you if you think I'm flushing it. Fuck off. Fuck off. I'm not like Rage Against the Machine. Like, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
Yeah.
I'll shit in the toilet bowl because that's what society wants me to do, but I'm not pushing the fucking lever.
What? Yeah. What is a weird level of, because like if he really didn't give a shit, he'd shit on the seat. That is the most rebellious move you could do, is do a turd right on the toilet seat.
I think it's just a lot to remember. I think I'm gonna defend him. Because because especially like if it's got one with a seat, you know, you got to put down the seat, and then you end up forgetting because you don't see the poop anymore, right? Like I put down the whole seat. I don't just put down the seat that the girl sits on. I put down.
Wait,
the,
do you not sit on the seat when you're shitting?
I guess
Like,
I
that's
do
for
when I'm
women.
shitting. Yeah. No, actually, I close the whole lid because when you flush, you don't want like the fecal matter spray to come
Okay,
up.
I got confused for a second. For a second, I thought you were saying I put down the toilet seat and then I put down the top cap and then I shit on top of that.
Yeah. No, this
For
is
some reason, it doesn't go down through.
They call it the Haggerty.
Just flushing the toilet while the turd is on top of the toilet
That's
seat.
a lot to remember. What do you expect me to do?
Patrick, I hate to know but your bit because I know you're supposed to yes and the bits, but it is totally not a lot to remember.
No, because you got to wipe and then you got to flush. That's like 3 or 4 things.
Yeah, that's what does your grocery list look like?
Yeah.
Every day he goes back for a different thing.
Yeah,
He gets like carrots, milk.
This is all I can remember. I just remember I get one thing.
You're shining a light on a former roommate of mine because he used to always fucking like, and he was a giant athlete too, and he would take these giant protein shits and then he would just leave them there. And I was like, there's some OCD thing or there's something going on with him leaving his poop in the toilet. But Patrick, I think you might be right. He just would forget chronically.
Chronically forgetting, I think that's wrong. But you know, I've forgotten before, and I kind of go back into the mindset of how I forgot, and it's because it's like, oh well, I did it, and then I was like, oh well, like maybe I hop right into the shower or something, and then to clean the shit out of my butthole. But and then I forget, but I've closed the
You
lid
shower
already.
every single time, even
Not
in a
every
public
time, but I
restroom?
try to as much as in a public restroom. Yeah, I do it in a public restroom.
Yeah. Well, I'm also like you protein shit, so I am trying to get fucking huge.
Me too, dude.
So it's a new thing. 'Cause
Right.
when I was in a relationship, I was like, yeah, why would I care about my body? There's somebody who's already having sex with me.
And then she broke up with you.
Yeah. and then I'm like, I totally changed. I used to think it was so like, because there was a lot of like gayness to like a lot of like, and now I've gone, now I'm like admiring other guys' bodies. And I'm like, look, that's the fit I want. That's not the fit. I'm like judging muscular guys. Like, I wouldn't do that. That's for me now. So I am becoming the thing that I thought it was. But the protein thing is like, you just, your shits are like, I take now, like, I am late to everywhere if I shit before going somewhere.
You were late to your own podcast at your apartment.
Yeah.
We all got here and you're like, guys, I'm glad you're here. I have to be in the bathroom for 5 minutes.
Yeah. And it was 15 probably.
Now,
yeah.
do you calculate how much protein you eat every day?
Yeah, I'm doing that thing now.
How many grams do you mind me asking?
I'm not comfortable with this.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No, it's 210.
210 grams of protein a day?
Is that too much?
How much do you weigh?
180.
I think that's unnecessarily high, I think.
Okay.
You're trying to get big, dude.
Yeah. In my
Fucking
mind,
do
I'm like,
it.
I picture just me, and then I'm like, well, if I want to be Dwayne the Rock Johnson, I got
And how tall?
he definitely eats a lot of protein and nothing else. The Rock.
That was really funny when he was on that he did. Like Joe Rogan's like all the time. He's like, The Rock does steroids, Rock does steroids, and then apparently The Rock did his podcast, and they didn't bring it up once.
They didn't bring it up once.
Yeah.
Well, when Joe Rogan has the one guy in entertainment that can beat his ass.
Yeah,
on
he's
the
like, I'm not going to bring it up. But yeah, no, it's so funny too because I've been getting sick from how much protein I'm eating, and I'm probably eating the dangerous amount of protein.
You can. It's not dangerous. You'll just poop it out. But I think 1 gram per body weight is fine. So if you weigh,
but I thought it's the
180
body weight you want.
I don't think so. It's the body weight you
Eat
have.
for the body weight you want.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
No, you're 180. Eat 180 grams.
Okay.
Well, what do you eat?
Well, I mean,
Like,
you got
look
some
at
good
Bobby's
muscles on
arms.
here.
Yeah, look at my
Yeah.
arms, dude. I'm eating 138 grams of protein a day. Not because I weigh 138 pounds,
because
but
you want to be 138.
exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why
93
I'm
pounds.
eating. That's why I'm eating 10 grams of protein.
What do you eat? So you eat the protein. Do you also eat a bunch of protein-rich foods?
Dude, it's like, so like I'll go to, by the way, it's funny too, because everybody's like, you got to eat healthy, you know, to make you feel better. But it is depressing just to eat chicken and rice every single day forever. Like, I'm like, a pizza, I think, would cheer me up here and there.
Oh, see, Michael,
You're talking about Bobby's life.
yeah.
Like, I'd
but-
kill myself if I had to live like that.
if you grew up Catholic like me, you would love the sacrifice involved in eating well. You're like, eating dry chicken and plain brown rice, this is just like dying on a cross, baby. This is what I deserve. It's not the food I need, it's the food I deserve.
This is what God wants me to
penance.
eat.
Yeah. Have you tried having an excellent metabolism? Because that's my trick for eating whatever I want.
Well, the thing is, okay,
You have a beautiful metabolism.
Yeah.
Because I spend a
You
whole
got
day
like
with
a,
Patrick.
you got a real V going on.
Yeah.
Dude.
And I eat whatever I want.
He eats
Yeah.
whatever he wants, and he does the thing where like all of his exercise is just things he wants to do for fun anyway. He's living his best life.
His job. He's on Taskrabbit.
Yeah, I do heavy lifting jobs, but I also like I play sports and I so I keep active.
What
know?
sports do you do?
I do softball over the summer and the fall as well.
Okay. Well, what sports do you do?
Sucking dick. Yeah.
Not as gay as the first thing you said.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, it's so funny too, because now I'm like getting sick from how much, like, because you said that, you're like, that's way too much protein. My body's now placebo affecting. I'm like, I gotta throw it up.
Right now.
Because I also like was trying to be healthy, and I'm like, I think I just wasn't seeing the immediate results that I wanted. So I was like, just more protein and more protein.
Oh, if whatever you're doing doesn't work within 2 to 3 days, you should change.
Yeah. It's like eating an extra pot brownie. It's like, it's not working. Like, yeah. What do you eat other than the protein? And I kind of
Dude, it's like I have chicken and rice, and then just I get these protein bars and protein shakes, and that's basically it.
Oh yeah.
You. I hope you're not trying to eat no carbs and no fats, because carbs and fats are good for you.
Well, I'm just eating like if I have chicken and rice, I'll have chicken and rice, and then I'm like, oh, well, I don't really want to eat the rest of the rice because I'm full because I've been drinking protein shakes all day. So that's kind of what's happening. But
Because do you
but I
feel
still
low
drink.
energy?
No, I have a lot of energy, but I also I've been taking caffeine pills too much. Like in my mind, I'm just like,
I don't know why I'm taking such huge shits all the time.
yeah. I'm such a like fucking like I don't know what it is. I just I'm very I always want to cut out the middleman. I'm like, why would I drink a whole coffee when I could just take a pill of caffeine? I'm very like druggy in my attitudes and drug addictions.
Supplements.
Yeah. I very much like I don't know. I'm always like I want the direct thing, and it's great because I eat really fast. I drink really fast. It's not even that I drink alcohol at a really fast rate. And I drink water. Like everything I do, I just do it like it's very I don't know what I think it's from when I was a teenager. I wanted to show how fast I could drink beer, and that just applied to everything else in my life.
I'm relating to this so much because I eat and drink very fast. I don't know. And I quit drinking. Because I was getting way too good at drinking real fast.
Yeah.
But everything I do it big. I just wrote that. But yeah, I don't know. My mom used to joke like, no one's gonna take it away from you. Because I would eat real fast. I used to do this thing.
Bobby, nobody's gonna take your alcohol after being on a 5-day bender.
Yeah, unless they're a judge. Yeah.
When did you stop drinking?
In 2016, right before I started comedy. Yeah,
that's so interesting because I remember getting drunk with you, but that might just think so that I'm an alcoholic. I just remember it's like
Bobby was there and I was drunk by transitive property. He was also drunk.
You're like, one shot for me, one shot for Bobby.
Yeah. Well, that's like always the like fucking like that's such a drinker mindset where like you get hammered with like especially comics. So many comics don't drink, and you're like, "What are you talking about? We got wasted all the time." You're like, "No, you got wasted by yourself, and nobody else was drinking."
They're like,
Kicked you out
"Michael,
of my apartment 3 times."
Yeah. we all got kicked out of the apartment. Like, why would I get kicked out of my own apartment?
we all get drunk and look for Mike at some points in our lives." You know what I mean? Well, how did that resolve, by the way? Just the cops came, but he was gone by the time they came?
No, they came and talked with him,
Okay.
and then they called us. And we're like, "Do you know the Mike?" Yeah. And then he eventually left.
That is interesting. So first off, that's got to be that's got to suck to be a cop. And you're like, I got to talk to somebody who is so high on meth right now and try to get actual answers instead of like that there's caterpillars in my brain.
Yeah.
And then also the fact that he got far enough along in the conversation that they believed Mike. They're like, no, it's in his heart. Look, he was putting tinfoil all around his head, but in his heart, I believe him about Mike.
So he didn't get arrested?
No.
That's a New York thing. I think anywhere else, I think he would have done at least a night in jail. But they're like, listen, can you just stop throwing rocks at this apartment? Can you go down to the next precinct and throw rocks?
Well, that's very funny too. It's very like putting a crackhead who's high on crack in a jail cell. Like it's not like a drunk guy and like that guy throwing that guy into a holding cell is scary. It's very like Watchmen, like where he's like, they're locked in here with me, and now he's like attacking all the people. Because like I would be, I don't know, like if I was, I don't know how. I've never been arrested. I don't know how has anybody here been arrested?
No.
Ben.
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
But it's like I feel like is it I don't know if you're high on meth and you go into like if they put you in a holding cell or if they put you in a psych ward for. I think there's like a cool off tank. Where
They
put
should
you.
probably bring him to the hospital. Is where they should bring him, just to like.
Yeah.
If they were gonna bring him anywhere, just make him so that he's not high on meth anymore, and then
That's true.
and then they'll do that. They'll be able to effectively do that. Give him whatever.
They give him heroin.
Give,
to
yeah,
bring
give
him down.
him, yeah. Give him whatever thing it is, like whatever testosterone shot that they did in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
But the
something
reverse
like
of that.
But the
yeah.
reverse of that is make him less uppity. But yeah, but then he'll just be like, well, my life's still bad. That's why I started doing the heroin, is because my life was
Oh,
bad.
yeah. Yeah, that's got to
There's
suck.
nothing really they can do. Like, yeah, it's send him to the next precinct. That's their method, probably.
That would be so funny if the cop shows up and he's just like, my life is so bad. He starts crying. And the cop's like, you know what? You can keep throwing rocks at the window, buddy. You've had a rough day.
Okay,
Let off
one
some
more good
steam."
one. Okay, one more good one.
Just winds up. That was fantastic.
Good. That is it out of your system? Come on.
And slowly, it's the catch with his dad that the crackhead never got.
It's like, there's nowhere near to like skip rocks on a pond. So you just got to throw them at some guy's window.
What is funny too, because there is like my pickup line on like dating apps now. I just ask them like, "What's the most trouble you've been in, either legally or with your parents?"
Sure.
And then they give their answer, and you're like, I would prefer not to give mine. I still like to go out, though.
Oh, mine's much worse.
Mine involves a
Registration process.
Yeah. There's 3 specific women that let their imaginations run amok. Anyway, are you busy tonight?
That's like, that's a pretty intimate question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I like to start with something fun, and then but every single time women say the same thing. They're like, "Oh, well, I had a speeding ticket, but I got out of it." I'm like, "Are you just trying to tell me how hot you are?"
Yeah.
But there's not a guy equivalent like
Or how willing she is to get out of trouble,
that is interesting.
which could be a good sign, Michael.
That'll be funny immediately. Like, so you sucked a cop's dick? That's not what I was saying.
Right.
But it's like every woman not every woman I know, but like most women I've talked to, they do this thing where they start crying to the cop and apparently just immediately get out of speeding tickets.
Can you imagine if we started crying?
That's what I was saying. I'm like, that's a hilarious thing to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like because I was such a douche as a teenager. I literally would be like, I know my rights. Like I was like the definition of a total.
I
fucking
will
douche.
not give you my license because I am a sovereign citizen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give you a copy of the Constitution.
Yeah. That's I think that's the idea that you would cry for getting pulled over. And full disclosure, I know some people get pulled over and then they have, shall we say, a not fun time. But most of the time, it's not your license is going to go up a point and you're going to owe somewhere between $50 and $150.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why people either cry or start rattling off their rights. It's just like they caught you. Everyone speeds, but they happen to catch you, and it sucks, and it is what it is. But there's nothing you could do. The best thing is to fucking be amicable and nice, and maybe they'll let you off with a warning. You know?
sounding real Republican, Bob.
Yeah.
But how about you just do what the police officer said?
You know what's funny is I legitimately did the BLM fucking preamble, and it still didn't work. And you were still like, oh, well. You sound like, so how long would that preamble have to have been before I gave that advice?
Oh, dude, I had a really racist episode last episode, so I just have to immediately throw people under the bus.
Who
This
was
time.
on?
This one actually. I don't know if it's going to get dropped. This might be the replacement for that one. So.
Wow.
Oh, Patty was on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, checks out, dude. You know what happened when you have Irish guys on your podcast? I mean, come on.
Yeah, they get a little excited.
Irish people are very racist, and I understand how ironic that sentence is, but I'll stand by it.
Yeah, I've always had that discussion because the one thing people love saying, they love being like, dude, Asians are super racist. You're like, well, that is racist unless you think racism is a good quality, in which case you're like, Asians are racist. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, I remember we had like a gym teacher named Coach Wolf who had sex with everybody's mom. And
Nice.
not everybody's mom, but a lot of people's
He
moms.
better not have fucked my mom.
We joke around a lot, but please confirm that he didn't fuck
He didn't
Ben's
have
mom.
sex with your mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yet.
No, I have a chart of the moms that he fucked, and I'm going to get on revenge.
You have a lot of drawings.
Yeah. Every guy's mom that he had sex with, I'm making sure that guy has sex with his mom. So we got about 15 grown adults that are now going to have sex with Coach Wolf's mom, who turns out lives in a nursing home in Iowa.
Perfect.
Well, easy to find.
Yeah. Yeah, easy to find, easy to trick too. But no, we
Mrs. Wolf, you have 15 visitors.
That is a
Oh, I
hilarious.
love trains.
It's really bright in here. And what's with the camera?
Well, it's so funny too because his Facebook page is hilarious because it's like it's all pictures of wolves. Like he literally will have like a serious wolf picture and it's like the wolf walks alone. And I'm like, you're like a grown man. And the funny thing is he lived in a house on campus. Like he lived on the campus of the middle school and it was a prep school, but I guess it doesn't make it any better. It's still weird to live.
I mean,
on
it's weird, but that makes some sense.
Those
Yeah.
kids that were getting diddled were rich.
I don't care. Well, it's also very funny to reverse it. He's like, it would be so creepy if I lived on campus, and they're like, we'll let you live on campus. He's like, now I have to have sex with people's moms and be like, look, this is the only age I have sex with. He's overcorrecting. Yeah. He's like, kids are disgusting to me. But his so what we went on there's like a Rate My Professor kind of website.
Rape my professor.
Rate My Professor, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really
it's on the
popular
dark
in
web.
Cairo.
I got an F. Go find the guy. But it's Rate My Professor where you go on. I've noticed it keeps sounding like I'm saying Rape My Professor.
Yeah, but I've heard of Rate my
Yes,
professor.
Rate My Professor.
Yeah.
Both websites let you put a chili pepper next to someone that's really attractive.
Rate the rape of my professor.
Scream the whole time. 5 stars.
Yeah, got wet for me. 3 stars.
But I went on there and I was like, Coach Wolf banged my mom, banged everybody else's mom. When the wolf is hungry, he eats. And that was just on there forever. And one of the reviews was so funny because one of them went, Coach Wolf is racist. 5 out of 5 stars. Which is the funniest review. But we did have, I will say this, we did have a teacher who they to catch a predator. So they did.
Wow, you have a lot of cool teachers.
Yeah, I guess it was a particularly horny school. But
Yeah.
they did like a thing where he texted a student and was like, oh, translate this out of Latin. And it was like, I want to see you naked. And then she immediately showed her parents like, what the fuck is this creep doing? And then what they did is he was like, oh, come meet me for like a sleepover. And then the cops met him at like a location. And
Do you think they had s'mores?
I don't think you're getting FOMO from the potential scenario that didn't even happen. But they arrested him, and his mugshot was kind of funny because he's also a swimming coach, so he had like a goggles tan on the mugshot. But I just recently looked up his like sex offender registry because I was like, oh, has this guy got in trouble recently? And he's wearing a beaded, what looks like, I don't know if it's puka shell or beaded necklace to his sexual registry picture, which is so funny.
Yeah.
To like dress up for this, like to have like.
Trashy as possible.
Gotta look good for the he's with his personal trainer. He's like, I just gotta grab. Oh,
Isn't that a hilarious? He
Okay.
has gel in his hair. He's trying to look
Wow.
hot
Yeah.
and cool for his sexual registry picture.
And
Oh
like
my
even the
God.
smile's kind of like he looks tan. Like,
Yeah,
he looks
it's like, yeah, I get pussy. It's not important what kind, but
yeah, we were joking about like, and it's funny too because like we looked at it, we're like, what are his previous crimes? It's been a decade. Either he's really good at not getting caught, or he learned his lesson.
well, you want to retire on top, like Jordan. You know, when he came back, it was like, all right, come on.
And Latin's a dead language. He's probably trying, but just nobody understands.
Yeah, he's still trying to spit game in Latin. Well, it's funny too because it's like we were joking about like his Instagram. That's like every picture is like a picture of like an underage girl and him going like throwing up face emoji, like ew, this is ugly. Like all of his stories are him trying to prove he's not.
And then every once in a while, a thing about like how people change.
Yeah. It's like people, it's like an underage girl and it's like a scale and it's like 0 out of 10. It's just
Yeah.
to be like disgusting.
but that means that he does think of some as being higher than 0 out of 10.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
implication.
Yeah.
He's like, you know who I think is really attractive? Ellen Mirren or whatever. Her name is.
Helen
What's her
Mirren,
name?
yeah,
Helen Mirren,
the really
yeah.
old lady.
Yeah, the one, but she's like the oldest lady that like people like us say that they would fuck.
yeah.
Helen,
Helen Mirren.
people like us.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's me
Because like,
projecting.
do you know
I'm
how?
not a racist
No,
who
me
says the
neither.
cops you should do. No, I'm totally kidding.
I get real serious. I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah. Like 15 years ago, when she was already in her 60s or so, there was a picture of her in like a bathing suit, and it was like, whoa, Helen Mirren's still hot.
Oh, she
Yeah.
is really. Ooh.
But it
Why is-
doesn't-
Okay, sorry guys. This
Yeah.
is a bad idea.
It-
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
I have to take another shit. Yeah.
Why is this? This is hitting me. I should.
But then
not
there's
be-
also Nancy Pelosi. She's got some nice.
Oh,
titties.
she's got some Pelosi's, dude,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful.
And I remember I was on Politically Not Safe for Work, which is a subreddit where you could jack off to like politicians. It's mostly AOC.
Wait.
AOC.
I'm confused.
It's so you know Reddit.
Yes.
You're familiar with the concept of a subreddit.
Yes.
So there's a subreddit called Politically NSFW, and it's politicians who you want to fuck.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
mostly
Every Reddit,
Stalin's
you're on-
nudes.
Every Reddit Bobby's on is a subreddit, right?
Hell yeah,
He's a
dude.
fucking sub.
Because I'm a sub.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Actually, I'm a switch. If I'm being completely honest with you.
I
but
wish you wouldn't be.
you wish I wouldn't be honest, or you wish I wouldn't be a switch because you want me all to yourself.
Yeah.
But there's so one of the top rated ones was Nancy Pelosi with her fucking giant Polish titties just looking absolutely scrumptious.
Damn.
And one of the top comments was, I bet you wouldn't like them if she took her shirt off. Like if you like, because they would
Right.
fall to her belly button. But my first thought was, fucking don't tell me what I do and don't like.
Just immediately getting mad at a guy. Like, you don't know me. You don't know what I like.
Because you know what? Yeah, sure. I'm sure they aren't. I'm sure they're held up together by some very strong underwire. But at the same time, the novelty of two things at once: a much older woman, and I'm going to bring Lube with me, of course. And number two is she's a powerful woman.
Oh, yeah.
At one point,
Is that Nancy?
Yeah. Way to spam risk, but we're going to answer it.
hell yeah, dude.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, my name is Harry Myers. How are you doing today?
This is not Nancy Pelosi.
Is this Mike?
Hello?
Well, the purpose of my call is to...
It's just a robot.
Oh yeah, sure. Would you like to buy some life insurance?
Yeah, that would be funny. It's normally like an Indian guy, but it's like a Scottish guy. You're like, I did not know this was going on.
So maybe it was real. So maybe we should call back to see if they're all right.
I used to answer them and practice accents, and then I realized what happens is now I'm on a list of guys who answer the phone, and I'm just getting, they're like, this guy's great. Like, it's like when somebody's
Parentheses, good at voices.
Yeah.
You're like, can I send my headshot into that list?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like one of those things where like a guy's like, this girl puts out, but I'm like the putting out. Like the my word, I'm like the slut that answers the phone. That's what I'm known for.
Yeah, he's on the phone for an hour and a half sometimes.
Yeah.
He really talks to us. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but Bobby had all the momentum going, and then he grabbed a sip of water.
Oh,
Really,
that's okay.
All looked at me like, what the fuck?
yeah,
are
you were
doing?
carrying the show.
Staying
That's okay.
hydrated.
I can, because before we walked in, I was actually going to ask Patrick a question because he's a Taskrabbit, and he was saying one of his tasks this week is just to stand in line for multiple hours.
Well, this is crazy.
Well, that has been a job that I've had in the past. Yeah, I've stood in line. There was one recently where they asked me to stand in line overnight, so I asked for more money, and it was for some like big sale for some purse or something.
Oh, interesting.
And they asked me to stand. Yeah, but
It's just
I've done that.
300 women and you.
No, it was 300 guys who were paid to stand on line and me. You know,
Oh, that's crazy.
It was everyone there was someone who was paid to stand in line.
Okay,
for sure.
so
Yeah.
did you guys bond?
Not really, because we were all like some guys though were good at it. They had like a nice chair and a blanket and like were sleeping through the whole
You
process.
know, there was one guy that wasn't getting paid, but was hoping to win the affection.
yeah.
And everybody else is like, no, dude, I'm getting $100.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just slowly dawning on him. He's like, oh yeah.
I thought there would be a bunch of ladies waiting for purses.
He's turning the other guys like, we all cheated, right? That's why we're here.
Yeah, we got to make up for it.
Right.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody who said they had like a friend like that who was this like guy from Mexico, and he was a Hungarian Jew. I can't do the accent because it's hard to do a
Is
Hungarian.
Hungarian Jew from Mexico?
Yes.
Is he Louis C.K.'s
It was not
dad?
Louis C.K.'s dad.
Oh, damn.
But apparently, like the guy got like an argument with his wife. He's like, how much of a problem is this? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, is it a $2,000 problem? And he like immediately was like, you can just solve all like in his mind. He's like, you can just solve any problem with buying a thing for a lady.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is accurate.
His
but-
son is like, you were never there. You were never there. He's like, is it a 5,000? What is it?
Just every single thing you're answering that way.
Yeah, that's a great way
Yeah.
to. People from different countries just have like. I remember one
Because
time.
of the Hungarian exchange rate, is like, is this a $3 problem?
Is this my youngest daughter problem? How does this work? I don't know. People like my buddy. So I'm from upstate New York near this sales outlet mall called the Woodbury Commons, where people from other countries, they'll come to New York and then they'll be like, and we have to visit this mall. which is it's so weird. My buddy used to work there at a shoe store, so people from like other countries would like come to like buy Nikes at an affordable rate because overseas they're more expensive, which is ironic because that's where they're made.
Right.
But every day someone would come in and be like, how much are these shoes? And he'd be like, $50. He'd be like, how about the 40? He's like, the price is fixed. I'm a teenager. I don't have, I don't set the price. You can't haggle here.
Yeah. Dude, I saw somebody try to do that the other day at the, which I've done before. Is the douchiest thing. But this guy like got like, I think it was like Oreos or something like that. And they're like, like $5.99. He goes, $5.99. He goes, these Oreos right here. You're telling me they're $5.99. You sure? It's like, yeah, the guy's not going to change the price of their like some things people will, but like this is like a fixed thing. The guy's not randomly going to be like, you got me.
I saw that at a bodega once where they were just like right in front of the like, guy that was like making the sandwiches, like a bunch of bags of chips, and these two guys were like picking up chips and like laughing, being like, there's like $6 and there's like no chips in here. And the guy stops making a sandwich. He grabs the big bag of chips. He cuts it open with the knife.
Oh, dude, that is fucking sick.
There are no chips in here. There are chips in here.
Dude, that is sweet.
Damn, dude, that guy is about to kill someone.
Yeah.
The way I imagine him cutting, spoiler alert for Breaking Bad, the way that he cuts the bag is the way that Gus fucking cuts his worker's throat.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of that one episode.
And he holds it open to make sure he's not able to like stop the bleeding. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, and I have moments like that where I know I'm a douche. I was going through like a really bad time, and I was in Central Park getting a chicken kebab, and hoping that it would change things. I'm hoping my whole life would get fixed with that.
Well, you know what's nice about doing that is the guy that is selling it to you will call you my friend, and then you feel like you're not alone in this world.
But it was like, so they charged like $15 for just chicken on a stick, and I literally completely flipped. I was like, wow, you must be a millionaire. That's so cool. And I just felt like such an asshole. But I was like, you must be
a guy who had his family killed in front of him by rebels.
Yeah.
You're like, this is too expensive, and I'm being snarky about it.
Yeah. It was the cuntiest thing too, because I'm like, this is absurd for me to be like, this guy probably has a way harder life than me.
Oh, I have actually done this successfully once or twice with just like random trucks on the street where it's like a bottle of water and they're like $2. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Because it used to be $1.
Yeah.
It should not be $2 for a bottle of water.
Carts will definitely change. Yeah. Just based on like you do a little look in the wall and you go, how much is it? And then they'll drop the price.
Well, or if they make you something and then you say that's too much, they made it already. Like you can kind of just give them whatever you want, and then they're like, what are you just gonna not take the money? Like I'll give you this much money. Yeah. Like if it's like a food item.
Yeah, that's something you do if the cart isn't around where you live.
You keep going back every day.
Yeah.
Well, I had a friend that kept doing that with Chipotle. He in prison now, but.
All right. Well, I'm sure whatever he was doing was a good thing to do. I'm ready to hear it.
He would go to Chipotle. He'd make the whole burrito, and then at the very end, he would use a card he knew was like an old card that would not go through. And because they used to have something in like their website where they'd be like, if your card gets declined, like there was some weird rule where they had to do it. And then this fucking dumbass was like his fucking 10th time at the same Chipotle. And they're
hilarious.
Like, no, we know you. Like the second start, they're like, no, we're not going to fucking do that.
Well, they still give you the sandwich?
They would the first couple times because they're like, all right, we already made the burrito. And you seem like probably a nice guy. You're not going to end up in prison one day. And
Was it for the Chipotle thing?
Yes. Yep. That's what he's in prison for.
Grand larceny. That's how many burritos you
it was like $1 million. Like, I didn't even eat that.
Yeah.
They got him for tax evasion, just like Capone.
Yep.
Well,
Nice. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for Capone.
Well, I want to take another drink of water. Is that okay?
That's okay. It is from analogy. Do you remember, did you ever try running over one of those with a car? They're so powerful that apparently you can't run over them with a car.
Well, those bottles are out now. We do Stanley Cups now.
Yeah, what is it? I missed this whole Stanley Cup thing.
Yeah, I kind of my fiance now. She got a Stanley Cup from her sister who bought a bunch for the teachers of her daughter, and then had one left over, so that she gave them to my gal. And I was like, oh yeah, it's just like a tall cup that seems like it's like a thermos that you can drink out of because it keeps your things cold, keep your things hot or something.
Sorry. Oh, no, it's been in the whole time. Sorry, I had the biggest concern that your microphone was unplugged for an hour. But it's not that good of a thermos. It's
just like a thermos cup. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's bizarre that it's so popular.
Yeah.
Because people were like stepping over each other for them.
Oh, I didn't know it was this crazy.
Oh yeah.
Did you Taskrabbit for it? Did you get in line
I never
for anyone?
Taskrabbited for it because I would imagine they were sold out by the time,
Yeah.
by pretty quickly. But yeah, no, I never Taskrabbited for it. But there's videos of people getting trampled trying to get what are they called? Stanley Cups and kids crying to their parents saying, if my friends are bullying me because I'm the only kid in school who doesn't have a Stanley Cup. Yeah.
So it's more violent than the actual hockey Stanley Cup.
Right. It's bizarre. And it's so weird that they called it a Stanley Cup when there is a very famous thing called a Stanley Cup. You know?
Yeah, that is crazy. Well, and it's also weird too because like I can't remember as a kid there being one thing that if I just didn't have it, I was a loser.
It's a boy.
Yeah, it's
thing.
more like one thing if you do
right.
have it, you're a loser. It's
like a
virginity.
rolly backpack or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Or
saying
red hair.
virginity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was like I guess certain things, but I never was able to care enough to go along with it because certain things like Yu-Gi-Oh cards I didn't get into. Did you have
No.
Yu-Gi-Oh? Was that ever a big thing with you?
Yeah. So I remember like I was not into Yu-Gi-Oh, but a neighborhood kid was into Pokemon, and I've said this before. I have a lot of these things that I thought were jokes, and then people get really upset about me for it. And then, like from when I was a kid, and so now I get very defensive when people get upset about a joke, and I'm like, not that I'm ever like whatever. I'm fucking like I get people being bothered by jokes, but my whole life there's been things like this where people are like, this is not funny. I'm like, I wasn't trying to hurt anybody's feelings. There's this guy we were friends with, and he loves Pokemon, and so we put Pikachu sucks on his doorstep and rang the doorbell, which I thought was a funny prank. I thought he'd be like, rats, Pikachu sucks. But he started crying.
Wow.
And I remember his Jamaican.
How old was he? 17?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, we were all like the same age. And then his Jamaican nanny was like, why would you do this to him?
Yeah.
I'm just getting like berated. She's like, you know, Nikki loves Pokemon and you ruined his heart. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I felt horrible. Like I remember just crying. And I was just like, I'm sorry. The kids cried. I was like,
Dude, those robocalls paid off.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty shitty of you for saying that. How old are you? Like 9? Like
Yeah, but I wasn't like fuck you, Pokemon sucks. I was like, this is just like a funny
like he'd be like, because I like Pokemon, but we're friends.
Yeah. I thought he'd figure it out. But
were you
like,
friends with him?
Yeah, I was. But like in his mind, this is equivalent to like throwing a brick through the window. Like get out of town, Mexicans. I'm like, no, this is just like a funny Pokemon stuff. I guess the anonymity makes it worse almost.
Yeah.
Because it seems like a neighbor. Like he pictures like the dads, like a bunch of white dads are like telling him to get out of town. They like formed a group and we're like,
There's a drawing of Pikachu on a noose.
Pikachu is owned by another person, so
maybe this guy was the first. Maybe there was some alliedness with the Pokemon.
Yeah,
Do they call them the Pokemon?
No Pikachu need apply. Like you put that.
I think Pokemon is an
Pokemon.
uncountable noun, so you don't change it when it's plural.
Pokemon. Yeah, it's
Pokemon.
it's singular and plural. But I remember the adults would call it Pokemon back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And then
That
maybe
had that-
Pokemon.
Kids would get SEC. You're like, Dad, it's not called Pokemon. It's
It's not
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
That had
Yeah.
that vibe of like, remember George Bush Sr. used to call Saddam Hussein Saddam?
Yeah.
It's like when you don't respect something, you're like, I don't even have time to.
Yeah.
That is really funny to just call a world leader the wrong. That's such a good troll. Just be like, yeah, Kim Jong Un.
That's the worst thing the Bushes did to the Middle East, actually.
Yeah, it's just
absolutely.
pronouncing the names. Yeah. That. I don't know. I never really like. I guess Heelys were something I wanted. My brother got them, but I never was like. There was never this thing where I was like, oh, people have this, and I like would kill for it.
I remember my little cousin at the time. She's like a few years younger than me, and in high school, she wanted a certain type. This is how unplugged I am to this stuff. I don't even know what brand it was, but she wanted a really expensive brand shirt. And high school that she went to was a public school, but a lot of the girls there were rich, so it had like this mean girl vibe to it. She was like the only one in her friend group that didn't have this fancy shirt. And one day, my uncle like saved up a bunch of money to buy her the fancy shirt, and then she was like, "Well, I can't just have one of these. What am I going to do? Wear the same shirt every day to school?"
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I can't spend $100 or whatever it is on one fancy shirt. You know what I mean? But that's the thing I think girls have to deal with in a way that men don't really have to deal with. Men in high school. That sounds right. That sounds like I'm trying to make boys in high school be older. But you know what I mean? Like, you know,
Men in high school.
Men
We all
in high
agree.
school.
We all agree. 15-year-old.
Yeah.
What's their bar mitzvah?
That's right. Yeah, they're men.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we got called when we were in high school. That's what my what the dean would call us was hello men, like they would call us men. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
I went to Catholic school, so we were constantly emasculated by having to wear our little uniforms.
I went to Catholic school as well.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, we had different experiences. Did you ever have like, were there like really religious teachers in your Catholic school?
I mean, there were brothers. There were like
black guys.
yeah,
on the
black
basketball
guys.
team, of course,
right?
but-
No, there were brothers, like Jesuit brothers.
Oh,
What is
interesting.
this?
What a brother is?
Yeah.
It's in Catholicism and Christianity. I guess in certain other sects of Christianity, there's priests and there's which is the father. You'd call him like hello father. But then there's also brothers, and then the nuns are sisters. And then, yeah,
Love
so there's-
fathers, hate brothers. Every time fathers want to have a good ass time, some ignorant ass brothers want to fuck it up. Talk about I never molested a kid. You ain't supposed to molest a kid. What are your can your neighbors upstairs hear us?
Give me. I had a thought there, and that cough just.
Oh yeah, yeah.
ripped it out of
But
me. I
you
was like,
you seemed interested about the brothers. And
Yeah,
the-
well,
the
no, I just
Catholic-
never
Are there
like-
other one? Are there like uncles?
No, I guess it's just father, sisters, and and mother. There's like Mother Teresa.
Well, some
Like,
of the
you know,
fathers will make you say uncle, but that's a whole.
Let me teach you about Christianity, because you're Jewish. You seem to be just
yeah,
a
well,
bad
we got
Christian.
that from the fucking
Yeah, yeah.
water bottle story.
What did you grow up religion?
Christian, but like not like my mom was Catholic. My dad was kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
He was in my life, but just all over the place religion.
right, religiously, yeah.
Yeah, he
no.
was devoutedly one religion, but he was not around.
yeah.
He's like, I
There's
love
one, one
Jesus
religion
and
where
not
you're
my son.
yeah.
I went to Catholic elementary school and Catholic high school, so I had some Catholic upbringing.
Do you have like a guilt thing?
No, it's bizarre how much my entire family has just been like, we'll leave that behind.
That's great.
Yeah,
I have like a deep guilt, like always, all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, maybe
would
a
you
little
like
bit.
to confess?
No.
Yeah.
I could put on a robe if it makes you feel more comfortable.
No.
Maybe you just need to be a better person. Maybe that'll help.
Patrick, were you ever an altar boy?
Yeah.
I was an altar boy too. If you guys are unfamiliar, it's where the little boys stand next to the priest during mass and they wear a dress.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's robes.
It's
Yeah.
a cassock, I think it's called, but it looks suspiciously like a dress.
Also, it is really
Isn't
weird.
that a name for like a Russian soldier?
Cossack, I think.
Ah,
Yeah.
And those
no,
are-
isn't that the really angry dog? Isn't that the really angry dog, Cossack? Kojak?
Oh, with the plugs.
Yeah. But,
Does it like unplug it? Is that why I have to?
Yeah. It's so many. Every episode, I go, "Wait, can you guys hold it correctly?" And instead, I'm just doing it like this, but it
Yeah.
sounds like I'm more mad at you. Yeah, because I'm like not.
Hey, could you not right now?
You're just slowly falling apart. Like, hey, there's spiders on your microphone.
Yeah. I had some acid earlier.
The reason I asked about if there's any like crazy religious teachers in your Catholic high schools, because we had the principal of the school. He wasn't even a priest; he was a Monsignor, which is like that. That's a title that no longer exists, but it means you were like a priest, enhanced priest, basically.
I think this guy made this. I think there's just keep getting things made up. 'Cause this guy's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm an archbishop the third. Like, there's
Oh,
no.
yeah.
Is this all real thing?
Monsignor they still exist. There's Monsignors.
I think you're grandfathered into it now. I don't think you could be like a 30-year-old Monsignor.
Oh, okay.
That's
That
my
makes sense. That
understanding.
makes sense, though. Yeah.
But he was our principal, and one day he would, because he would always do these announcements, and he was usually very friendly. But one day he did this 10-minute tirade about how we are not acting like children of God. And here's the examples he gave: we take God's name in vain because we say "I swear to God" or "Oh my God," and the women. There I go again. The girls in the school.
It's Bobby, not a good track record.
They hike up their skirts so you could see too much of their legs. Which, by the way, that's such an old man way to. Because I don't give a fuck about legs for a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, we could see too much of their legs, and he said, so there was a town near us, which was like. You could describe as a ghetto. It was called Newburgh, and he said the
I
way.
think I'll have to me. You're like, you can describe it as a ghetto. I would call it a
so
wonderful
he
neighborhood.
goes the way that
Yeah,
you-
with a lot of Jews.
You cop defending racists.
Yeah, that's me, dude. That's my new brand. So he says the way some of you women walk around these halls with your skirts hiked up would put the women on the streets of Newburgh to shame.
Oh my god!
And I was like, that's an insane thing to tell children. That's wild.
Wow.
I'm like that, and that's the. I mean, I was 16 or 17 hearing this tirade, having never had sex. And I was in that
Like, I know where I'm going this week.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. And then also I'm like, okay, it's completely unnatural for a 60-year-old man to never fuck because that's the type of shit that's rattling on your brain.
Oh, yeah.
That was 100% like pent up cum, basically.
Oh, yeah.
There was some shit going
He
on.
was
in there.
jerking off while doing the announcement.
That's what those robes are for. Have you seen the ones too? It's weird. I saw a video of like a priest on Instagram. I guess they're on Instagram now. Everybody's on it.
I can imagine why.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're on TikTok too.
But there was one where the hoods, I've never seen them wear. So there are like white pointy hoods that priests
It's
have.
just, and the titles even like Monsignor is so close to Grand Wizard.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and the candles and the secrecy.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
no Jews. Like there's a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird. Well, it's also I bet you the Klan like based it off of like because there's like religious
The
things.
Klan actually really hates Catholics, but
Oh yeah, but other
Wait, what's their beef? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar.
because they're like Irish and Italian and stuff. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Catholics had their own difficulties in like the early 1900s, especially. Like,
They actually went through something similar in America that like Jews also went through, where it's like, we suspect that you have dual loyalty. You know what I mean? Because they're like, well, how can you listen to the Pope and the president? Like same idea, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Which is wrong.
And for Jews, like, how can you listen to that snake that you that you listen to and the president? Yeah.
Yeah, that's always what is the Pope? He changed his opinions on gays, right? He's
Yeah, I mean, here's what the Catholic Church is going to do. In our lifetime, they're going to say, hey, being gay is fine. And then right after that, they're going to pretend like they were cool with it the whole time.
Yeah.
Because that's what Catholics are very...
they're like having sex with a little boy. Is that homophobic? How is
Right,
that
right.
homophobic?
I think Catholics can be very condescending because I remember going to Catholic school and being taught by religion teachers that, hey, you know, those evangelicals, they think that evolution isn't real, but like Catholics believe in evolution. I'm like, yeah, since 1958.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, you know, they put Galileo in house arrest for saying the moon moved differently. You know?
Yeah.
That's 100% what's going to happen. And women are going to be priests and they're going to act like misogyny never existed in the Catholic Church. And it's
Yeah.
going to be hilarious to see.
Yeah, that will be an interesting leaf to because kind of the way politicians do. They're like, I've always liked
Yeah,
gays.
yeah,
There's like
exactly.
900 videos of you saying they shouldn't
Yeah,
get married.
Hillary Clinton in 2007 being like, gay people, ugh.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
she's like, can you please vote for me? I'm
Yeah,
not
she's
Donald
like,
Trump.
I always keep poppers in my bag.
I totally forgot about that thing with the hot sauce in person. What was the exact quote with that?
Like, I always keep hot sauce in my bag.
Yeah.
But like she was being asked that like by a black person in a black room. There are
Yeah.
videos of her like literally changing her voice based on like who she's around.
Oh, she also gets a lot of robocalls?
Yeah, Bill be pulling up. Bill be pulling up real soon. You're like, what? What is like the like in Judaism, what were you taught about like gay?
Yeah, what did they call you, Ben?
Jewgayism. How do they deal with that?
So I didn't get like a super religious upbringing. I did
Okay.
like
That's why you're a man of science.
I did maybe like a year of like Hebrew school, but I didn't even have like a bar mitzvah. I'm not like a good resource or authority on Judaism.
Okay.
But I know it's in like any religion, like the more serious you get, generally the more homophobic.
Oh yeah.
I think at the lower levels they're a little bit more chill about it. My aunt.
What if it's in a tunnel? Is that okay?
Well, we were talking about. It's very funny because like I think we talked about this last episode. How it's actually sorry,
the one that's
your
not
aunt.
getting released?
Yeah, I'm releasing it. I'm very uncomfortable with it, but yeah. You were just saying something about your aunt.
Oh yeah, so she was actually like the first female rabbi in Boston like 40 years ago.
Oh shit!
Well,
Yeah.
If you ask me, a woman belongs in the rabbi hood like an orange belongs on the Seder plate.
Mm-hmm.
On the what plate?
It's
Seder plate. It's in Judaism they have the Seder as opposed to
Oh
like
yeah, you're gonna be Jewish
like a
soon.
din din. There's din din in Catholicism and Seder in Judaism. You know?
Okay.
It's like having a little din din.
There's a little Easter egg for our Jewish listeners, but it wasn't worth.
They don't believe in that.
Yeah. a little Passover egg.
Well, yeah, we were joking on the last episode. It was funny. We're like, it's weird that like there's always these people who say like they're like religion is all different people's interpretation of the word of God. And it's probably all the same God, like especially Abrahamic religions. But it is funny they all agree that being gay is. They're like, look, we all have different views, but this is the wrong one. This is the one thing we all agree.
There's this hilarious quote by Louis Farrakhan, who I listen to every week, and he.
Wait, who is he again? I know Kanye not a fan.
Kanye not a fan?
Maybe he is a fan.
I think he might be a fan, dude. Louis Farrakhan.
I got him mixed up with Netanyahu, which are completely.
They're very different. So Louis Farrakhan, Black Power guy, not a fan of the Jews. I don't know why I said that like Adam Sandler in the Hanukkah song.
Not a fan of the Jews.
Yeah, Louis Farrakhan, not a fan of the Jews. But when not David Duke, but like the guy below David Duke in like the white supremacy community,
right.
I actually don't remember his name, unfortunately, but he passed away. And Louis Farrakhan went, you know what? I knew him well. We would talk. Didn't agree about everything, of course. He's a white supremacist. I believe in the supremacy of black people. But he was right about Jews. And I'm like, damn, that's so funny, dude. It's like we were able to find common ground.
Yeah. What is it? The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
That's kind of what it was, dude. That there would be some like there is this sort of weird thing. I remember I actually didn't see him speak, but there was a former neo-Nazi that came to our college to speak about like what that experience was like, and he was like,
he's like awesome.
He was awesome, dude.
They kicked him out. He's like, just let me back in.
Yeah. He's like, come on, I don't want to have to talk to college kids. He had very cool tattoos, but he was like, we would get together with like the other gangs and be like, listen, we disagree about who the superior race is, but we all agree that there is a superior race and that we should divide the United States into sections. And
like the Hunger Games?
Pretty much, dude. Yeah, like I remember my friend was telling me he showed a diagram and he was like, we sat down with like the different like leaders, like the black leaders, Hispanic leaders, and be like, listen, like the Hispanics get the Southwest, of course.
It's like a football draft.
Yeah, dude. Pretty much it's the racial draft with on the Chappelle Show. That's what it was. So you don't get to change your race.
Yeah,
that's a big So it's kind of interesting to be like we're. It's almost what's the expression? Horseshoe theory, where you're extreme politically that you actually agree with the people on the far left and the far right.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is a thing with like you take like there are like black supremacy groups that like do mirror like white supremacy groups.
And the thing with Louis Farrakhan is that he could kind of dial it down a little bit. That's why I felt so bad for Nick Cannon. Because I don't think Nick Cannon is anti-Semite. I think he's kind of dumb and he listens to the people that talk to him. You know what I mean? So they were like, have you heard about melanin theory? Have you heard that we're the real Jews? And he's like, listen, I have 12 kids and I can kind of rap and I have a dumb improv show at MTV for R Words.
And he used to do stand-up.
And he used to do stand-up.
Yeah,
which I mean, that's a cherry on top of how dumb somebody can
Yeah, it's weird how I start respecting somebody less if they did stand up. I'm like, well, clearly you're unintelligent.
That's such a hard position to be in where he's like, listen, this person that tells me about God also has weird opinions about the Jews, and I don't know enough to know that the things he's telling me are anti-Semitic. And oops, someone put a microphone in my face and I said some stuff. And now my manager is calling me. It sounds real stressful, dude.
Yeah.
Because it's not a Kanye West thing where his brain is just broken from mental illness. It's literally like he just got some wrong information. And he said like literally 3 sentences that got him in trouble. You know what I mean? Nick Cannon is hilarious.
And then on the next season of Wild 'N Out, they got like the most Jewish guy possible.
Oh yeah. We're at an hour though.
Ooh.
Oh, by the way,
all right.
From the last episode, it's gonna be very funny. The last episode doesn't get released. I'm leaving it up to my producer. I'm like, look, drop it if you drop it.
This has a producer?
Yeah, my buddy.
Oh, nice. I'm sorry.
But no, it's fine. I don't get my feelings hurt very much.
Yeah,
besides
but
what
that's
you
the end of
said.
the show.
On the last episode, I said I got my dick sucked in Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Ooh.
It was Pirates of the Caribbean 4. I don't want
Okay.
people are gonna,
Redaction.
yes.
Redaction.
People are going to listen to it and they're going to be like, oh, he was
Yeah.
5 when he got his dick sucked. No, that's stolen valor. I was about 13,
Now,
14.
Michael, this is all well and good, but we all know that less people see the retraction than the original story. There's some people that are always going to have the incorrect information floating around in their heads.
Yeah. And that girl who sucked your dick in the 4th one is going to be like, he had his dick sucked in the 3rd one.
Where could they find you guys?
Check me out on YouTube, Patrick Haggerty, the Sports and Stuff show. Go check that out.
I subscribed.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, you did. Hell yeah, you did.
Hell yeah, dude. And check me out on Instagram, Bobby Sheehan, LOL, because you know I bring the laughter. Follow me on Instagram. Don't follow me on X. I'm terrible on X. I also have a podcast called the Before Hours Podcast. It's an internet radio phenomenon hosted by an occasional morning person where I ask the most interesting people I know about their sleep routine, life, love, stress, and setbacks. Thank you for having me, Michael.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
You can find me on Instagram at This Is Ben Miller. I have a bunch of road dates coming up all around the U.S., a little bit of Europe. Bobby's opening some of those shows.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, check that out. Thanks
And
for
it's
having me.
it's a science-based show, right?
Yeah. So the new
comedy
show
based,
I'm
I guess.
touring around is an hour of jokes about volcanoes.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. And I'm headlining this Saturday in Maryland as well.
This is
so-
going to come out in 2 weeks. but-
That's great, man. Yeah. I'm
just know that he
headlining 2 weeks ago in Maryland.
If you find a time machine, don't kill Hitler.
Yeah, I
Go
just
to
want
his
people
show.
to know that I headlined.
That is true,
It's
yeah,
more
yeah.
that I just want people to know that I did that.
Yeah.
So that way maybe they'll go check my YouTube out because they know that that I have headlined.
Yeah. This is a legitimate headliner we got on the podcast. All right, perfect. Thank you.